Look at me, I am glorious! I am mighty! Hello everyone and welcome to the Isle. Allow me to introduce you to my Triceratops, whom I have lovingly called Alan.
Alan!
Don't get too attached to him, he's gonna die soon. Before we get started, I just want to say thanks to today's sponsor. This video was sponsored by Moxie. Moxie left this lovely comment on the channel, which was exactly what I needed to pick myself back up and keep putting in the work producing videos after just getting a really nasty hate comment. You know me, and you know that I really value the interaction with you guys. Your support makes these videos possible, which is why I consider your funny and kind and interesting comments my sponsorships. If you don't mind, from now on you'll see more of these comment shoutouts in videos as another way for me to say thank you to all of you. Okay, done with the mushy stuff, back to the video. Alan had a rough childhood. He nearly died of starvation during a seemingly never-ending rainstorm, and then, during his adolescence, he pretty much just refused to come out of his room for anything other than eating and drinking. I can tell you that raising a Triceratops on the Isle takes commitment. But once you get there, and you finally get to hit growth again, you realize it was all... Would you please stop interrupting? If I could give you any tip at all on how to grow a trike on the Isle, it's this. Don't. Obviously, I'm just dissing the trike right now because anger is the stage of grief I'm currently in as I mourn the loss of Alan. What I really mean is that playing as the trike and actually enjoying that gameplay requires a specific type of person. Trike mains, I admire thee, but with all due respect I must confess, I think you're crazy. But let's rewind. Let's go back to the start to an innocent little Triceratops alone on the Isle. Instead of trying to find a herd, I decided that on my first try I would try something a little bit different. I tried to do it on my own. Of course, there are major advantages to being in a herd. If you're lucky, there's protection there, but there is also danger. For starters, traveling towards your herd leaves you exposed, and herds tend to be loud, attracting carnivores who pick off the weaker ones. And as a baby Triceratops, that weak one would be you. On top of that, herds tend to gather in known spots where carnivores probably migrate to sooner or later just to see if they're there. So for my first try, not knowing it would be my first and only try, I decided to be the lone wolf. I picked dark colors to be able to hide, especially at night, and as a juvie I made my way over to a spot that I felt would suit this trial strategy. This was the place of choice. It was close to a river, not a pond or lake that can be smelled from miles away and thus attract other players. There were plenty of bushes around to eat, and plenty of clustered evergreen trees to hide under, even as I got bigger. Because the strategy was sit under an evergreen tree the entire time and only come out to drink and eat. That's what I did. 4 hours long. I sat under a tree and only emerged to eat and drink. Whenever I came out of my hiding spot, I was terrified, and the more time that I had invested, the more time I had spent on the Isle with Alan, I actually felt nauseous every time I had to go out of my hiding spot and risk being spotted as I made my way over to the nearest bush and to drink from the stream. But that being said, the rest of the time while hidden under the tree was incredibly boring. Like, I can't even begin to describe how boring it was. I wasn't even in the game most of the time. I actually opened YouTube on my second screen to watch videos, and I even edited one of my own videos. So overall, the process of growing from a little juvie trike to a fresh adult was 99% boring and 1% absolutely terrifying. If you know simple maths, you know that leaves 0% for fun. Would I have had more fun being part of a herd? I don't know. Maybe. I've never tried that. The gaming beaver didn't seem to have that much fun on his last try, and he spent most of his time around other players. So my conclusion is, surprisingly, that growing a trike is kinda easy. I mean, it cost me a lot of time, but no effort. It wasn't challenging, but it also wasn't fun. But if you are committed to growing a Triceratops and for whatever reason you don't want to or you can't join a herd, the way I went about it is a viable option, apparently. Case in point. And maybe I just got lucky, who knows, but it wasn't like I was out there alone. As I grew the Triceratops, the server was constantly at around 130 slots of 150 taken. And I heard plenty of Utahs, I heard Aloes, I heard Gigas, and at one point even a Rex walked right by my hiding spot one night, and I guess he had no idea I was there because he didn't even look my way. By the time I could finally grow, though, I decided to leave the server because I wanted to enjoy the moment, and I knew I wouldn't be able to after the day that I had just had on the Isle. I did try a deathmatch server to train myself a little bit, but that was another disheartening experience that only put me off more. Every single time I engaged with a Rex, he just ran up to me, stopped right on top of me, broke my leg with either the first or second bite, and then just kept biting until I died, which didn't take long at all. When I tried to get away, he'd just stay on top of me, and even when turning around to face him in hopes of at least landing a couple of blows with my horns, I just died before I could kill the Rex. This led me to including a buff for the Trike in my video with 9 things I think, personally, that the recode needs. Which pretty much no one agreed with, by the way. Even people who agreed with the other 8 points were like, point 9 though about the Trike, let's not do that. Almost everyone was like, okay, seriously though, the Trike is super strong as it is, it doesn't need a buff. A Trike is so strong that most Rexes won't even try to mess with you, and if they do, you both have a 50-50 chance. Hearing people say that in the comments, or actually reading it and hearing it in my head, I suppose, actually put me at ease. I don't mind being wrong about this sort of stuff, and in this case I'd even welcome it. So, with that in mind, I finally dared to go back to my Trike. Of course, I still knew that if I got attacked, the odds would not be 50-50 for me because I'm not a good fighter. But since people said that most of the time a Rex won't even risk it because the odds are apparently 50-50, and because that Rex player wouldn't know that I'm an awful fighter, I felt a little bit more secure. I felt like, okay, well, they're probably not going to try anything. So I went back in, I hit grow, and I started the home stretch to adulthood. I considered continuing the way I had by just hiding under a tree and only coming out for food and water until I was at 100%, but like I think I've made clear in the first part of this video, that was no fun at all, and I was ready to finally have some fun again. So instead I decided to head all the way down to Great Falls from where I was at, and I felt pretty confident since the server was so unusually quiet. It's not uncommon for this server to be completely full, but at the time I was here, there were only 50 people on out of 150. And spread over V3, 50 people usually feels like you are alone. I tried getting into a Trike group by opening up the global chat and asking if there were any other adult Trikes around, but either there were none or nobody wanted to play with me, because my plea in the chat went unanswered. But several people were mentioning going to Great Falls, and at least one of them said during the conversation that they were a Maya, so I figured, okay, well, Great Falls is one of those popular spots where herds usually gather, and it seemed like there would be a herd there again, so that's where I decided to go. About 40 minutes into my journey south, this happened. So, yeah, that's it. Even though I recorded the in-game footage, I didn't record mic audio, but you wouldn't have heard me say anything anyway. I was completely silent during this entire ordeal. I was numb. In spite of the process it took to get there, or maybe because of the process it took to get there, I really liked having that trike and to see it just die like that. I mean, it's Alan. I loved Alan, even though I hated every single minute I spent with Alan. It's like Stockholm Syndrome. You spend enough time with your tormentor, your brain just adapts and you grow to love him. Still a better love story than Twilight. Oh, is that joke dead? Well, so is Alan. It happened almost exactly like I predicted in my 9 things for the Recode video. Exactly like it had happened on the Deathmatch server again and again. The only difference being the sub-adults coming in as a decoy. Let's just look at this train wreck again. Yes, okay, yes, I'm admitting to it. I'm salty about this. I spent nearly 5 hours on this to basically get killed in 6 seconds. 6 seconds! I'm gonna stop. This is the last time you'll hear me talk about this, okay? I promise, this is the last time you will hear me talk about this. So that concludes my massively disappointing life as a Triceratops, and I'm sorry that this is such a downer of a video, but I can't make it something it's not. And at this point, this is just part of my grieving process, okay? And like I said, this is my promise to you. Just this one video, and then I'm done, okay? I won't complain about it again. Now, I don't know yet which dinosaur is my favorite in the game. I just know the Trike ain't it, man. The Trike ain't it. Next time, I'll return as a different dinosaur and actually have a good time again and hopefully make an entertaining video for you guys again. If you want to see me actually have fun on the Isle, because usually I'm a happy, giddy, excitable player, I have fun, please hit the subscribe button. I'd like to think that I didn't completely waste my time. 5 hours? 5 hours. So if even one person subscribes based on this video, I will feel a lot better. I will be eternally grateful. You have saved 5 hours of my life. Thank you. Thank you so much for watching, and until next time, enjoy the game. Even you Rex players out there.